My dear friends, once again, I humbly welcome you here in this presentation. On behalf of BARTI, I am Dr. Atul Suryawanshi, MM College Patsora, District Jalgaon of Maharashtra State. Yesterday, we studied about the various areas of research. Research is the 10th module which is prescribed for our study for the NET and SET examination. And today, we are going to study the select MCQ, as this is CBT, machine-based test. So MCQ is very important while undergoing the research. We have to prepare the study in objective point of view. So without delay, let's begin this presentation. The very first question. The research time aims at immediate application. The research that require actual application is action-based research. Remember, it is not empirical, it is conceptual and fundamental. It is action-oriented directly. So let's begin. The second slide in the series. Identify the correct sequence of the research steps. And the answer has been highlighted here. The very first option, A option, is the correct one. That is selection of the topic, review of literature, data collection, interpretation of the findings. So this is the correct sequence. We have to select the problem first. We have to formulate the question. And then there is literary review. And after literary review, there is data collection and interpretation of the selection data. Of the topic, review of literature, data collection, interpretation. Deconstruction is a popular method of research in literature. As we know, deconstruction is an important theory. We talked about it yesterday. This is not in basic science or applied science or social science. Deconstruction, which is in opposition of the construction, is associated with literature. The principle of fundamental research are used in: is it action research, applied research, philosophical research, or historical research? The answer is the principle of the fundamental research are used in applied research. This is actual application of the research. So, our concept of the research, the types and the areas should be very clear while solving the question paper of NET and SET examination. Let's proceed further. Which is the main objective of research? To review the literature, to summarize what is already known, to get an academic degree, to discover new facts, or to make fresh interpretation of the known fact. And the D option is correct. To discover new facts or to make fresh interpretation of the known fact. So this is the main objective of research. To search something new, to search something again, and to interpret the facts and to discover something new. The next slide. In a thesis, figures and tables are included where exactly? In an appendix, a separate chapter, the concluding chapter, or the text itself. So, figures and tables are included in the text itself because it is very useful to interpret and illustrate the given point with the help of charts, diagrams, tables, numerical figures. So it has to be mentioned in the text itself. The next question is, research ethics do not include what? Now, day before yesterday, we studied about some ethics of the research. honesty, integrity, objectivity, impartiality. So these are the selective principles, ethics, that we have to follow while pursuing the research. Subjectivity can never be the part of the ethics, remember. The individual person and his thinking has no value in the research. We have to think in an objective way. The next question is, the core element of a dissertation are. What are the elements of dissertation? Is it introduction, data collection, data analysis, conclusion, and recommendation? See, the answer is D. It is introduction, literature review, research methodology, results, discussion, and conclusion are the select elements to prepare dissertation. We have to offer introduction in the very beginning. Then we have to carry literary review. Then we have to follow certain methodology. After following that methodology, we get expected result. We discuss and we conclude the research. So in this way, my dear friends, this is the exact process on the way to pursue the research. These are the core elements while writing the dissertation. I think your point of view is quite clear. Let's proceed further. Which of the following type of researches determine the relationship between two or more variables? So when two or more variables determine the relationship, determination of the relationship is always there in co-relational research. Correlate means associated, connected. It is not in the survey or action or both or none. The answer is co-relational research. So these are the important questions. If you prepare in such a way in an objective mode, I hope that you will get your result very soon. The next question is, what is the synopsis of a research project? 4 options are there. It is the blueprint, it consists of the plan of research, it is the summary of the finding of the research, and none of the above. So synopsis is nothing but the summary of the finding of the research. When we accomplish our PhD work and we go to the university to submit our thesis of PhD in the university, at that time, we present synopsis, which comprises summary of the findings of the research. The next question in the series is, in which of the following arrangements a wider spectrum of ideas and issues may be made possible? So, in which arrangement? Is it a research article, workshop mode, conference, or symposium? The answer is quite obvious. We talked about the conference, symposium, workshop, seminars the day before yesterday. We talked on that. So when we get a solid output, we learn something positively. It is always a workshop. We learn something. Workshop instructs and teaches something to the aspirants. Let us turn towards the next question in the series. A detailed description of methodology of research is required in what? When we describe the methodology in detail, it is always a thesis or dissertation. It is not workshop or seminar or conference seminar papers. Detailed methodology has to be illustrated in the thesis or writing the dissertation. The next question is, below are given the 2 sets, research methods, set first and data collection tools. So match these 2 sets and indicate your answer by selecting the correct mode, set 1 and set 2. See this. Experimental method using primary secondary sources, ex post facto method, questionnaires, descriptive survey methods, standardized test, and historical method is a typical characteristics test. So these questions, when they have the 4 options, it is more puzzling and jumbling, remember. We should have practice for the same. Now, this A matches with the 3rd, standardized test. B matches with the 4th. That means typical characteristics test. C with the 2nd, that means questionnaire. And D with the 1st, using primary or secondary sources. So we have to match A column with the B column in such a way. It is raises the standard, it maintains the standard of the examination. The next question is plagiarism, Wangmay Chaurya, Churi Karna, can lead to what? Retraction of the published paper, suspension from the job, rejection of the thesis, or all of the above. If it is strong plagiarism, the university or the college can take these all of the above actions. Our published paper can be retracted. We can be terminated or suspended from the job. Cases can be rejected in the university. And we have to have some sort of penalty. The next question, the format of thesis writing is same as in preparation of the research paper, writing the seminar, presentation, or research dissertation, and presenting a workshop or conference paper. So format of thesis writing is same as in the research dissertation. Remember, dissertation and thesis are somewhat similar up to some extent. Slight minor differences there. But we have to describe detailed methodology in both, in thesis and in dissertation also. So such minor details in the research will lead you in the right direction to get maximum mark in the examination. Without wasting the time, let us turn towards the next slide here. Which of the following is an initial mandatory requirement for pursuing the research? Is it developing a research design, formulating a research question, deciding about the data analysis process, and formulating a research hypothesis? The answer is formulating a research question is the initial requirement to pursue the research. We should have some problem. We should have some question in the mind. And so we initiate research to satisfy that question or to search the suitable answer for the question. So this is the beginning of the research, to raise the question. The next slide here in the series, the research students can use a direct quote. Up to how many lines? Up to 1 page, 1 para, 3 lines, 1 line only. And the exact answer is up to 3 lines. A research student can use direct quotations in the paragraph up to 3 lines. We have to use parenthesis for that. Okay, when we mention it in the paragraph. So we have to follow the MLA or APA manual sheet for the same to study it in detail so that the presentation would be better. The next question is related with plagiarism. Plagiarism is what? Submitting some other work as of your own, submitting your own previously published work again. So plagiarism is both. When you quote someone in your own work and submit it, or you submit your own research paper previously published, both fall under the category of plagiarism, remember. So both A and B are the correct answers. The next question here in this series is plagiarism can be avoided by the use of. So how can we avoid? If you want to avoid plagiarism, you have to go for paraphrasing. Paraphrase, clarify it, illustrate, explain it. It is not associated with direct quotations or summary or all of the above. Plagiarism can be avoided by the best use of paraphrasing technique. Explain it in your own words, in brief. The next question. Which of the following requires proper citation? When you refer to some previously published studies, when you refer your own paper that you have previously written, so both A and B requires proper citation. Okay, without citation, the paper cannot be completed. The next question in the series is summarizing. So what is summarizing? Summarizing is a presenting in your own words, reducing the source to its main point, A and B and another. So summarizing is both A and B. Presenting the matter in our own words and reducing the source text to its main point is the summarizing. We have to do it. We have to abbreviate the given passage in our own words. It's summary. The next, site code covers all type of publications. So all type of publications, site code covers. The next, which is an indexing agency? NASA, Scopus, MHRD, or Turnitin? So indexing agency is Scopus, remember. So this question can be asked during the examination. So I request you to go through, search what is mean by the word Scopus, what is MHRD, what is NASA, what is a DOAR. Sometimes abbreviations have been asked during the examination. DOAR stands for Directory of Open Access Repository is the correct answer. Let us turn towards the next slide. Confidentiality, anonymity, and privacy is an ethical principle belongs to which stage of research? Planning research, review, developing research to data gathering and analysis. And the exact answer is D. It is data gathering and analysis. We have to maintain confidentiality when we collect the data and when we analyze it. We have to obey such things. These are the ethics of plagiarism that we have to follow. Let us turn towards the next slide. Which ethical principle asks to share data, result, ideas, tool, and resources? So it is not objectivity, integrity, and legality. It is openness. Openness to all. So research should not be secret and private activity, remember. This is the ethical principle that we should share the data with others. Research should be quite clear and open. There should be no hiding in the research. The next is plagiarism is a form of what? It is academic dishonesty, remember, plagiarism. It is the theft. It is stealing someone else's material and to cite it as one's own. This is plagiarism. Citation is not necessary for which of the following? So it is not necessary for common knowledge. If you are referring Constitution of India, citation is not essential in that. Because it is the matter of common knowledge. It is general knowledge. Everyone knows it quite well. So regarding the common knowledge, citation is not essential. The next question in the series, if an author has mentioned any article from the Constitution of India and has not given citation of the year of publication, publisher, page number, etc., of the copy of the Indian Constitution, will it come under plagiarism? The answer is clear-cut no. No. Because we know that Constitution of India has been drafted by Bharat Ratna, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. We know it quite well. It is a matter of general awareness. And so is the reason it is known by everyone. And so no citation is required in such a case. We should develop such point of view. Means we should try to solve the challenging questions so that we will get better results during the examination. Who is known as the influential figure behind shaping the theory structuralism? So structuralism is associated with the French linguist Ferdinand de Saussure. He states in his book, Course of General Linguistics, which he published. And in that book, he deals with the theory of structuralism, which focuses on the word and the sentence structures in the text. The next question, Carl Gustav Jung is associated with what? Now, Carl Jung is associated with a psychoanalytical theory. I told you about it. Dr. Sigmund Freud, who wrote the book and published the book in the year 1900, entitled Interpretation of Dreams, is widely known as the father of psychoanalysis. So what is psychoanalysis? I told you day before yesterday that it is the interpretation of the human mind, and it is the unspooling of the human psyche so that the better work, the work which we pursuing research can be illustrated well so that it can be easy for better understanding. So psychoanalysis, Carl Jung. Who said the relationship between signifier and signified is arbitrary? So none other than Ferdinand de Saussure, again, the French linguist. Signifier, signified. So these are the terms he talked about in his book, Ferdinand de Saussure. Who wrote the book, The Course in General Linguistics? The French linguist Ferdinand de Saussure has written this book. The next question in the series, who is called the French fried? Is it Jacques Lacan, R.S. Crane, Jacques Lacan, and Carl Jung, Jacques Derrida? The answer is Jacques Lacan. Jacques Lacan describes a mirror stage in his theory. And Jacques Lacan has explained the theory of Sigmund Freud in detail. So Jacques Lacan is post-Freudian psychoanalyst, and he is from France. And so is the reason he is widely known as the French Freud. The foundation of feminism was laid by Mary Wollstonecraft, is the answer. It is not Eric from Simone de Beauvoir or Conrad Lorenz. The answer is Mary Wollstonecraft, when she published the book in 1792, Vindication of the Rights of the Woman. That book was the beginning of the feminism. That was the classic book I told you yesterday. Let us turn towards the next slide. The term gynocriticism. Gyno means a woman. So the criticism associated with the women's literary work, this term was coined by Elaine Shalter. Towards feminist criticism, Elaine Shalter talks about it. She talks about gynocriticism. So gynocriticism is associated with the criticism of women. The next question, Second Sex, is an important book which published in 1949, was written by the French writer Simone de Beauvoir. She very clearly states in the said book that the first sex is the male sex and the second sex is woman. So woman has been always subordinated and dominated in the male dominant society. And at the end of this book, she states that men and women are equally important for the development of the society, so there should be equality between both the sexes. Simone de Beauvoir is the topmost writer in France. Next question. Kate Millett's influential, polemical and hard-hitting book is Sexual Politics, which she published in 1970. The Sexual Politics, this book, deals with the politics done with the female class. Kate Millett illustrates this. Who wrote the book on the subjection of women? So on the subjection of women is a book written by the famous scholar John Stuart Mill. J.S. Mill states on the subjection of women that both the sexes are important for the development of the society. They should be treated equal. The next question is reader response theory. And this theory implies what? The theory implies that the readers construct the meaning. As Roland Barthes says in the theory very clearly, that the death of the author is at the cost of the birth of the reader. When a writer writes something, he dies mentally, morally for that book. And the readers, they decide the standard of that particular book. So readers construct the meaning. They decide the standard of that book. This is reader response theory of Roland Barthes. Let us turn toward the next question here in the series. The essay Death of the Author is written by whom? Death of the Author is written by Roland Barthes. And he talks about reader response theory. He says that the poet's mind is only a receptacle. It functions like the catalyst. It increases the rate of reaction but doesn't participate in this. So when the writer writes something, he dies in the moral sense for that book. And it is at the cost of the birth of the reader. The readers, they decide the standard of the book. And this theory has been illustrated in the book Death by the Author, written by Roland Barthes. The next work, The Ethics of Reading, which published in 1987, was written by whom? The answer is J. Hellis Miller is the correct answer of this question. Without wasting the time, let us turn toward the next slide here in the series. Who wrote the essay Improvisation and Power? The answer is Stephen Greenblatt. It is not Roland Barthes or Michel Foucault, always masters. Improvisation and the Power is written by Stephen Greenblatt. Who wrote the book The Principles of Literary Criticism? And he is none other than I.A. Richards. He wrote that book and illustrated the principles of literary criticism in the said book. It is not T.S. Eliot or Cleanbrook or William Emerson. T.S. Eliot received Nobel in 1948. We should study from objective point of view to get better results during the examination. I focus again and again. Who wrote The Myth of Sisyphus? So, Myths of Sisyphus has been written by Al-Bakhami, the famous writer who is the recipient of the Nobel. I think it is most probably 1947. Al-Bakhami is the writer of the Myths of Sisyphus. It is not Samuel Beckett or Martinez Lin or Eugene Ionesco. The next question, who popularized the term hybridity? Hybridity, it is some sort of mixing and mingling, amalgamation. And this term was coined in the decade of 1990 by Homi Bhabha. The next question, implied meaning has been proposed by the great philosopher H.P. Greece. So this is about pragmatism. When we study English, this is interdisciplinary. All the branches of the English, they are closely associated with one another. So we should touch all the branches when we study. The term intertextuality has been introduced by whom exactly? Is it Stanley Fish, Rolla Barthes, Paul Duman, or Julia Kristeva? The answer is Julia Kristeva, who is associated with psychoanalytical theory, and she illustrates intertextuality, that a text depends on the other text for certain things. There is some sort of connection between both the texts. This is intertextuality, that means interdependence of the one book on another. This theory has been propounded by Julia Kristeva. The next question, syllabic consonant plays the role of what exactly? Syllabic consonant plays the role of a vowel. In cotton, in mortal, in bottle, we studied this. This is syllabic consonant. As the monosyllabic word is the combination of a vowel and a consonant. Sometimes the role of the vowel has been replaced by consonant. So syllabic consonant plays the role of the vowel. The next question, the day before yesterday, or in the previous week lecture, we studied this. The personal dialect of each individual speaker of the language is called the personal variety of speaking the language is always known as an idiolect in English. And what is dialect? Dialect is the group language of the particular area. Remember, I have clearly stated the difference between idiolect and dialect. Idiolect is individual style. Dialect is a common language. The next question here in this series. Rationale of the study is logic leading to methodology, logic leading to aim and objectives. So rationale of the study is a logic leading to aim and objectives. Okay, this is the rational thinking when we think about the aims and objectives of the study. Literary review is a dash of research. So literary review is the beginning, and this is the foundation of the research. It is not the last step of formality. It is the foundation, it is beginning. Because after accompanying literary review, you come to know certain realities and the fact of how to touch that particular literary field so that we can pursue and follow our research. So literary review has been done in the very beginning of the research. The next question, objectives of a study must be specific and measurable, relevant and time-bound. So objectives should be very clear-cut, specific, measurable, relevant, time-bound, accurate, exact, clearly stated. So the answer is both A and B. The next question is an important one. Shodha Ganga is the database of what exactly? Shodha Ganga is the database of thesis. It is not synopsis. I told you yesterday on Inflipped, if you visit, there is Shodha Ganga. You will find ample thesis related to your research topic there. It is mandatory to submit the thesis after pursuing research after completing the doctoral degree. This thesis has been reposited in Shodha Ganga on InflipNet. So the next question is the same. What is InflipNet? InflipNet is the Information and Library Network Center located at Gandhinagar, Gujarat. So this is InflipNet. This is the Information and Library Network Science. This is Network Center, which is a user subscription-based scientific citation indexing service. So WOS means the Web of Science is a huge description-based scientific citation indexing service, WOS. So I hope that your concept is getting clear. The next question, First, the rule of writing the body of paper is it to use many references, use effective English, or stick to the outline, or all of them? The first and the foremost thing that we have to stick to the outline. What is the rough draft of the research? When we write the body of the paper, we should stick to the outline first. The next, what is abstract? Abstract is same as of your PhD research synopsis, a comprehensive research summary with good length, short and representative summary of the research work, and all of the above. So abstract is crisp, short, and a representative summary of the research work is abstract. Next question. Identify which of the following is the correct pair. Acknowledgement, source of the study, materials and methods, output of the experiment, abstract, central idea, and discussion, rationality of the work. So this is the correct pair is abstract with central idea, the gist. IMRAD stands for what exactly in the research? So I stands for introduction, M for material or method, result, and D for discussion. Remember, introduction, methods, result, and discussion, IMRD stands for. In introduction, you brief background and brief literature review, introduce the topic, identify the research gap, define the problem, and present rationality, and all of the above. So in the very beginning, in the very introduction of our research topic, we should mention all these things. So the answer is all of the above. The next question. In the result section, do not exaggerate the result. Don't be afraid of the reporting the negative results. Statistical support must be there, and all of the above. So in the result section, all of the above should be there. There will be no exaggeration, no afraid of the negative result, and statistical support must be there. So this is the result. Let us turn towards the next slide. Sources of information which you are giving at the end of your manuscript is termed as. So the source of information is which we cite at the end of the research project is a reference. I told you, reference of the book, the websites, newspapers, articles, and many more. When references are listed in alphabetical order, stating the last name and the first author like Smith G, and then in bracket 2008, is which style of citing the references? Is it APA or MLA? I told you yesterday, this is APA, American Psychological Association. And MLA deals with Modern Language Association. So this is APA style that we follow. Synopsis should cover introduction, literature, methodology, and all of the above. The answer is all of the above. Synopsis that we present to the university after accomplishing our PhD work. We should mention these three things: introduction, literature, and methodology, and synopsis. So next, result of the study can be presented in the form of tabular form or graphical form, or both. The answer is both. Result of the study can be better illustrated in tabular form, in graph, and numerical data, so it can be well illustrated. The next question. Which of the following is correct? Team and group are the same things. Team is a group having common goals. Team is a group with different goals, and none of the above. So team is a group having common goals. When all the research students, they pursue or follow some research or academic activity in the university, this is, they pursue common goal. Which of the following is a possible conflict in team while academic writing? Sequence of the authorship, who will be corresponding author, addition and deletion of the author's name, and all of the above is the answer. What should be the first expected outcome in any science granted proposal? And the expectation is patent. It is the foremost important thing. What is MOOC stands for? MOOC is what? MOOC. Massive Open Online Course means MOOC. What is Moodle platform? Is free up to 50 users. The 50 users can use this online platform. The next question. Dash is copying passage from the multiple sources and mixing them up within the new work without citation. That is mashup. Mashup is a form of plagiarism. The act of copying from one own previously submitted work without giving proper citation is called self-plagiarism. Remember, self-plagiarism. The next is the act of assembling information from different sources representing one's own work without citation is called remixing. The next question. Paid version of this software is not available. Registered users can take more than 10 plagiarism scan per day in what exactly? In Duplichecker. Remember. This web-based anti-plagiarism software provides a similarity index which indicates the percentage of the match work with all sources and an originality report which shows these matches in detail. Can you name it? The name is Turn It In. The next question. Which among the following plagiarism checker does not have a paid version? So the free version is Q-Text. I-10 index referred to what exactly? The number of the papers with 10 or more citations in the last 50 years means I-10 index. Remember, this is an important question. What is FFP? FFP stands for falsification, fabrication, and plagiarism. Stand on the shoulders of a giant is a punchline of which of the following database service? And it is Google Scholar. Using this technique in your own written work will help readers to find out more about the details of the origin of the work. The answer is citation. The next question. In the in-text citation minimum, how many authors can be cited with? And the writers are 3. We can cite 3 authors. What is the most effective technique to avoid plagiarism in your academic writing? To write original ideas with in-text citation is the most effective technique to avoid plagiarism in the academic writing. Next. Is it mandatory for higher education to submit soft copies of all the research done to whom? UGC or Inflibnate? The answer is Inflibnate. As for the UGC regulation 2018 at the level of the second level of plagiarism, penalty for the teacher supervisor is what? The answer is B. To withdraw manuscript, denied the right to annual increment, and shall not be allowed to be supervisor to any new masters, MPhil, PhD student scholars from the period of for 2 years. So, which committee in higher education has the rights to take appropriate decision for plagiarism accused person? Academic Misconduct Panel. Jacques Derrida is connected with deconstruction theory. He is associated with deconstruction. The next. In grammar translation method, we find extreme emphasis on what? On formal grammar, translation into the mother tongue. In direct method, teachers avoid the use of what? Mother tongue while teaching English as a foreign language. Modern technology provides teachers with access to tools like computerized materials, which has been. When a pidgin becomes mother tongue of the speech community, we call it Crew, the very first answer. Next slide. Language skills, listening, speaking, reading, writing can be tested with the help of evaluation in a better way. So the first is answer. The next question. Contributions of marginalized groups such as peasants, Dalit, and women are categorized under subalterns. So can the subaltern speak? It is a great essay written by Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak. Jesuri is a famous work written by Arun Kolatkar, Indian writing in English, who is the recipient of the Nobel Prize in 2001, and he is Vidyadhar Suraj Prasad Naipaul. Identifying the wrong title in the subsection, the wasteland, period of the day, a game of chess, fire, sermon, and none of the above. So none of the above, all are correct, right? The next question. Identify the correct pair. The Light of Asia by Sir Edwin Arnold, The Adventures of Learning, Advancement of Learning by Francis Bacon, Tradition and Individual Talent by T.S. Eliot. The answer is all are correct. ICT means Information and Communication Technology. So thank you very much for your patient listening, my dear friends. Here we have practiced 100 questions approximately today, which offers objective sense for the research and for the research methodology. I humbly wish you prosperous future. Request you to subscribe and follow this channel and our lectures for the better understanding. Thank you very much. Have a nice time. God bless you all. Jai Hind.